What's a harmless thing your parents did that actually messed you up? They weren't bad people in most respects, but they didn't give me any direction or take any interest in my interests, studies, or life, and instead raised me like I was a small adult. I could have used a little joy and input, and I would have thrived on some of the attention I see my brother provide his own kids. They hit me. At the time, I just kinda got over it every time it happened. Kids/teens bounce back like that. But as I got older, I realized how much it emotionally detached me from them, and symptoms of PTSD started emerging when I had to live with them again, because of an injury. Refused an autism assessment and accommodations for school because they didn't want that label on me and hoped I'd outgrow the challenges. I didn't outgrow it, and now I'm in my 20s trying to find resources on my own. My parents always pushed me down the right path. Turns out it was just outdated AF. Now I'm stuck relearning everything in my 20s LOL. Yelling at each other in the middle of the night, every night when I was 5 to 7. Now I'm having to work really hard to get over the anger issues my father gave me. I've had multiple relationships with others deteriorate because of my anger, as well as a shit ton of other problems that stemmed from it. I started having absence seizures when I was in 4th grade, always after waking up, getting ready for school. My dad called it my school days, and my mother swears it was sleepwalking and that it was harmless. She's a nurse, BTW. It got bad in high school, giving me a very irregular, heavy menstrual cycle. I took myself to a neurologist at 19, and they started me on migraine meds. Migraines are a side effects of epilepsy. It took more years of getting a proper diagnosis. I'm 36 now, still have spoiled my little brother and put his needs before mine. My father very generously brought each of us kids a car when we could drive. He had a budget of $5,000, which could get you a decent car back then, and he would help us look at government auctions and the such to get an even better car for the price. We all ended up with Ford Contours with about 20k miles on it for between 3.5 to 5k. They weren't fancy, but reliable, and we lived about 20 miles away from town in the desert, so we needed something. Not me actually, but a few relatives before me. My grandfather told my mother that when he was young, his parents would go behind closed doors when they disagreed on something, probably to avoid upsetting the children. That meant that when my grandfather got married, he initially did not know how to resolve conflicts with his wife. My parents made me move the woodpile. It was a stack of heavy logs, 10 feet wide and 5 feet tall that I would have to move 20 feet in any given direction until it was finished. Often when I would come in and say it was finished, my dad would make me move it back. No matter how cold it was, how dark it got outside in backwoods Ohio, how many blisters were on my hands and feet, they thought they hit the jackpot of punishments with this damn woodpile. This came about after the wooden spoon.
Tell me to stop being shy.
That's pretty much it. I had a good childhood. Talking to my psychiatrist. Most of the comments are actually harmful. They love to prank me with non-funny pranks. Like coming home with my siblings saying they signed me up for summer cooking camp and I could bring one friend. When I got really excited and was thinking which friend to take, they start laughing, then tell me there's no such thing as summer cooking camp. Like, WTF was the joke? Me getting excited then disappointed? Good joke, assholes. Giving me a phone with unrestricted internet access. I think trying to protect my brother because he has a serious anxiety issue. We had to quiet down to keep him safe. My parents loved adopting/rescuing pets but failed to keep the cats fixed and didn't keep the pet areas clean or acknowledge my obvious allergies, causing me to have chronic breathing issues as an adult and scar tissue along my lash lines from scratching my eyes. Minor compared to many things here, but my parents did the whole "you don't leave the table until your plate is clean" thing. When I was young, some days that meant staring at the table for hours nauseous until I could choke down everything. As an adult, it meant I had zero ability to judge satiety or portion size and dealt with binge and other forms of disordered eating for years. My weight went up and down as I struggled, but I was always bouncing back and forth from overweight to obese. All of these are my mother. TW. Not quite CSA, but still. Had sex with a married man in the same room as me and my younger sister. We were about 9 and 10. We were asleep, and I recently learned I wasn't the only one that woke up. You weren't in any danger. TW. Mention of CSA. Told me my dad molested my older sister, his stepdaughter, before she married him. She knew what was happening. I was a little girl when she told me. I only recently told my big sister, 11 years older, that I know, and my mother was always so dismissive when I was upset about anything. Like I was overreacting and I was such a drama queen. When I was a kid growing up, if there was even an idea of me talking to a girl, it would be this harmless, "Oh, someone's got a gyral friend" thing. I know they were just teasing, but it made me really insecure about talking to, mentioning, or being around girls for a really long time because I didn't want to get teased. I will never tease my kids about something like that because of it. Never forced to into activities. When they gave me my first journal to write about my day in, they offhandedly mentioned that the only reason they'd ever look in it is if I ever went missing, so they can try to figure out where I went. I internalized that as my journal not being private, and to this day I can't write anything super personal in a journal without getting massive anxiety around the possibility of someone reading it sometime in the future, even though I no longer live with my parents. My mom used to complain about adult problems like child support being late to me as a kid. I'm now the therapist's friend, and it feels like I'm always taking care of everyone else before myself. Left gossip magazines in the bathroom that talked about people with eating disorders and how great people looked extremely skinny or with very low body fat, especially when I was bullied for being overweight as a teenager. I learned what bulimia was through one of those magazines and then suffered with it for 6 years. Parents had me talk to a church guidance counselor. Guidance counselor said everything discussed will be private and told to no one. After talking to the counselor, why are my parents so angry when I got home? After that, I learned you cannot trust people.